Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron saying here, and today I am back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. Today I'm using the same team as yesterday's episode with Charizard Y, Landorus T, Thundurus, Bisharp, Sylveon, and Hariyama. As always, if you enjoy the series and want to see another episode tomorrow, please show your support by liking the video. It really means a lot, and let's aim for 500 likes. I also uploaded an analysis on Bisharp earlier today, so if you have not watched that, definitely check it out. But first opponent of the day is going to be a 1684 rated player from Japan. Opponent's going to have a team of Politoed, Kingdra, Metagross, Amoonguss, Togekiss, and Aegislash. So obviously rain option with Togekiss as support, presumably for Tailwind, Amoonguss for Spore, Togekiss also probably has Follow Me. So Bisharp looks fantastic against my opponent's team, first of all. And I've got Charizard to stop the rain too, and he actually really can't take heat waves either. So I'm going to lead with Bisharp and Thundurus, I think. And have Charizard and Sylveon in the back. The question is whether I want to go with Sylveon or Landorus. I actually like Landorus a fair amount as well. Decisions. I think Landorus, the thing is Landorus can still get one hit KO'd if that is, presumably that's Mega Metagross with Ice Punch. This is Scarf Sylveon though, so if I can just paralyze Metagross I'm fine. And Sylveon just getting spread damage off as well is nice. You know, I'm gonna bring in Sylveon, it gives the Kingdra a tougher time. But yeah, I'm going to go with Thundurus and Bisharp, mainly because that covers my bases against everything he's got. So, I'm going to lead with those two as he goes with Aegislash, I think? Oh no, it's Politoed Kingdra. Same beginning character as Aegislash. Which is not a terrible matchup. I'm thinking maybe I should have led with Charizard just to prevent the rain basically from coming up at all, but it's fine. I think I'm just gonna protect and T-Bolt the Thundurus this first turn to try to put it in Sucker Punch KO range, since I am pretty... first of all, Amoonguss comes in, okay, as he protects with Kingdra, so smart play on his end there. Yeah, but I wanted to do that to put him into KO range, since I can just Sucker Punch, but instead he makes an excellent play going into Amoonguss and conserving his rain for the remainder of, or at least giving him the same rain option. I'm just going to go for the knockoff onto the Kingdra and go for the taunt onto the Amoonguss. Even if he KOs Bisharp, then I can just bring in Sylveon and Hyper Voice, so even though it's rough losing Bisharp like this, it should be alright as long as Sylveon comes in for free. He does go for the Muddy Water. Let's see if it's enough to knock out Bisharp. Falling... Oh, nice! Hanging out with 5 HP, and it is Life Orbed as well. So Bisharp here does get a knockoff before it faints, and that's great because it does a lot of damage off to that Amoonguss. Actually getting rid of the eject button, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to activate, which is pretty interesting to see, as Thundurus heals back more from its leftovers. But it's good to know that Kingdra has the Life Orb rather than the Lumberry, which some like to run. But I do get a free switch into Sylveon now. Which of course now I can just Hyper Voice. Presumably he's going to switch out Amoonguss, so I'm going to Thunder Wave that slot because I get the feeling Metagross is coming in there. And if he stays in, then he's just going to take damage. But he is going to withdraw it. Let's see what comes in. That looks like Metagross to me. Yep, so I did call that correctly. And he goes for the Protect as well, so at least making some place to get back into this game, but I am in a pretty difficult position right now. Paralysis there is nice, though. And Sylveon's going to Hyper Voice into nothing here. Or Hyper Voice, at least going to target the Metagross. That does a decent amount there, actually. But I'm still in a pretty disadvantageous position. If Politoed was gone, this would be a lot better, because I've, of course, got Charizard in the back. But the thing is, he can just freely switch in at any time. I don't think I have many very good options here. I'm just going to go for the Hyper Voice and T-Bolt the Metagross, I think. Yeah. And he's going to stay in with his Kingdra, so he's gonna lose the Kingdra here. If I can get a full para, that would be really nice. We'll see. Oh, wow, I do get a full para, but it looks like he went for the Protector with Metagross instead. He is going to get the Muddy Water off with Kingdra. Shouldn't KO... Yeah, nice. Oh, but he decreases the accuracy of Sylveon. Hopefully it's going to be able to connect here as Thundurus gets the Thunderbolt off against the Metagross, and that did a lot. Wow. Oh, with the critical hit. Hyper Voice. Oh, misses the Metagross, but it hits the Kingdra. So that knocks it out. Okay. Gave me a scare there, but I hit what I needed to hit. As Leftover heals me back a bit more. It was definitely a lucky full para there. I thought he might have gone for an attack, but instead he just went for a Protect. But that's going to put it in KO range as Amoonguss comes back out. So now I can just go for a Hyper Voice and another Taunt onto the Amoonguss. He's not going to Rage Powder. So I'm guessing we're going to see a Giga Drain come out. Oh, he has a Bullet Punch on Metagross. Nice. But Sylveon hangs on with 5 HP. Hyper Voice misses the Amoonguss, but it knocks out the Metagross with a critical hit, actually. Not sure if I could have KO'd there without it, but he's going to go for the Sludge Bomb, interestingly enough, onto Thundurus. So Sludge Bomb Amoonguss coming and making an appearance, also KOing me with the critical hit. And of course, I am a very specially built Thundurus, so both of us trading crits there to pick up KOs. Not sure if the one on Metagross mattered, since it did do a fair amount when it switched in, but we'll see. But now I can just bring in Charizard, set up the Sun. He's got Drizzle, but of course Charizard now can Mega Evolve, and I can just Hyper Voice and Heat Wave. Oops. And there's not much my opponent can really do at this point in the game, but I do need to hit my attack at least. The question is whether he's got Perish Song on Politoed, because sometimes Politoed do carry Perish Song. But even if he does, he'd have to get basically a triple Protect. There's really not much he can do because... and the reason why I Heat Waved here is basically I know I'm guaranteed a KO on the Amoonguss. So, you know, you pick up KOs whenever you can if you know you can get it. And I am going to be able to reduce the super effectiveness of the water type attacks from Politoed. As it does go for Protect, so that's what I thought he might have gone for. Hopefully Heat Wave hits here. It does, yep. So I'm going to knock out Amoonguss, and now it's Sylveon and Charizard against a Politoed. Not much Politoed can really do against that, as Hyper Voice goes into the Protect. And now I can just Hyper Voice and Solar Beam for the game. But that was a pretty intense battle. As my opponent just forfeits, not going to bother. And I do take a pretty quick Game 1 win, 2-1, but definitely had some luck here and there. Bisharp hanging on with 5 HP in the beginning was fortunate because it allowed me to do a lot of damage to the Amoonguss. Though I'm not sure if that really mattered, but the full para on Metagross helped out a lot, and then the Bullet Punch not KOing Sylveon as well. But definitely an exciting match. Sun versus Rain is always a pretty interesting matchup. So, nice way to start off today's episode, and we are going to look for our second game of the day. My rating right now is currently wavering around 1700. I did drop a bit last night. I played a bunch of games at 2 in the morning because I decided that would be a good idea. Let me tell you, it was not a good idea. But my second opponent of the day is going to be Alex, 1667 from California. He's got a team of Garchomp, Metagross, Tyranitar, Gallade, Swampert, and the Excadrill. So, first of all, I immediately noticed that his entire team is weak to Landorus's Earthquake, so I might be able to take advantage of that. He's also very physically oriented. Almost all those Pokemon tend to be physical type attackers. I'm going to lead with Landorus, and Charizard here helps out, but I like Landorus and Sylveon as a lead, actually. I'm going to have Bisharp in the back for sure, and it's between Charizard and Thundurus for the last one. Hariyama's actually not bad in this either, but the thing is I need a Levitator to get the Earthquakes off with Landorus. So I'm thinking Charizard. Thundurus really can't do much against this entire team, whereas Charizard can at least stop the Sandstorm from Tyranitar. But I'm really going to be relying on the other 3 members, Landorus, Sylveon, and Bisharp for this one. And those 3 can single-handedly knock out his entire team with super effective attacks. So the question is what Mega Evolutions he's got, because 5 of the 6 Pokemon he has the potential to be a Mega. So he's going to go with Tyranitar and Metagross against my Landorus and Sylveon lead. That's fine. as I get the Intimidate off. Not obviously going to affect Metagross, but he's got Air Balloon, which is definitely good to know, but I can just go for the EQ Hyper Voice, honestly. I would be knocking out my own Sylveon as a result, but I think that's worth it if I can pick up a double knockout here. And Sylveon shouldn't faint from an Earthquake regardless. He does go for a Protect with the Tyranitar, though. So let's see. Metagross doesn't Protect, though, so that's good. It means I'll be able to get this Earthquake off. And of course, my Sylveon is Choice Scarf, so that's going to remove the Air Balloon from that Metagross, and Landorus is going to get the Earthquake off. So that was a pretty aggressive play, I guess, but I wanted to knock out the Metagross, as it does pick up the KO there. And Sylveon still hangs around, so I'm going to get another turn to Hyper Voice, basically. So that's good. Tyranitar not Mega Evolving, though. Yeah, actually, if he were a Mega Evolution, it makes sense not to Mega Evolve, because I've got Charizard Y, so I still don't know what Mega he's got, but he brings in Swampert now. And that's good, because of course I've got the super effective Solar Beam from Charizard. So I'm thinking I can just Hyper Voice an Earthquake once again, because like I said, he doesn't have any good switch-ins to it. But the question is whether I want to conserve the Sylveon. Alternatively, I could switch out Landorus into Bisharp, which is what I'm tempted to go for. Get the Hyper Voice off, and then get a free switch into Landorus once again. You know, I'm going to go for that play. I don't want to KO my Sylveon. So I'm going to play a bit safer, and that way I get another Intimidate. So Bisharp comes in. Tyranitar going for another Protect there. What is going on? Well, I guess my opponent maybe wanted me to knock out my own Sylveon there, but I'm not going to fall into that trap. So Sylveon just gets another Scarf Hyper Voice off. As, yeah, I mean, you can't really get back into the game by making passive plays like that, honestly. I'm going to try to knock out the Swampert now with a knockoff, and I'm just going to go for another Hyper Voice. But like I said, his team is just really weak to Landorus and Sylveon. So it is Mega Tyranitar, okay. Good to get confirmation there. That's probably the scariest, not the scariest, the least scary Mega I have to deal with. Metagross and Golay definitely scared me more in Team Preview. Goes for another Protect there with the Tyranitar. This one makes sense because he's probably going for Earthquake now with the Swampert, but let's see if I can knock it out here with a knockoff. That Hyper Voice did do a lot. Knockoff picks up the KO with a crit, but if it has an item, which obviously it does, I think I was fine. Yeah, he is leftover, so I think I would have been fine because I was Life Orb, and we saw how much Hyper Voice did, so probably not very much HP investment on that Swampert. And so far he hasn't really done any damage, and oh, Garchomp as my opponent's last one. It's going to be trouble for my opponent since, obviously, you know, I've got Sylveon. Now I can just Iron Head Tyranitar and Hyper Voice. And of course this is Scarf Sylveon, so Scarf Sylveon really doing work in this match. And that's one reason why I wanted to try out Scarf, because so many times people expect the... Oh wow, it's even faster though with the Garchomp. So he goes for the Rock Slide there. So that's gotta be a Choice Scarf Garchomp coming out from my opponent there. As Bisharp actually flinches as well. Tyranitar going for an Aqua Tail. Okay. I do get my Landorus in for free. And that's going to intimidate him once again. So now I can just protect Bisharp and Earthquake. And there isn't very much you can do against that. But yeah, like I was saying, I like Scarf Sylveon because it catches a lot of people off guard and it can outspeed things like Kangaskhan. I guess it's not Scarf Garchomp then. I should check my Sylveon's EVs then. Or its item, excuse me. Yeah, it's EVs and its item because it should be outspeeding Garchomp if it's Scarfed. Regardless, I pick up the KO here on Tyranitar, get a crit on Garchomp, but I can just Sucker Punch Garchomp this following turn. But this battle was a good indication for me to make sure I redo my Sylveon's EVs. Of course, I was running a bulkier variant earlier on, so, you know, I'm going to switch out here, but it doesn't matter. He's going to forfeit, and I'm going to be able to win the second game of the day 3-1. So, a lot of weather wars today. First game was against rain, second one was against sand, but this opponent just didn't have anything against Sylveon and Landorus T. Like I said, Earthquake hits his entire team for neutral or super effective damage. So for those that are wondering about team building in VGC 15, definitely make sure you have your ways to beat Garchomp / Landorus or just Earthquake in general. that's why most teams have 1 to 2 levitators slash flying type Pokemon, so you can't just willingly spam Earthquake. And in this case, it just kind of ran through. But yeah, it's a shorter episode for you guys today, but featuring a whole lot of Pokemon and a whole lot of weather. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, leave a like if you did, and I'll see you next time.